Hi guys, Matt from the Big River here. Got actually a pretty good sized order of fish this week. Just freshwater, no salt or reptiles. We'll do that next week. But right out of the box, first thing we have something fun. These are Marthae black-winged hatchets. Really nice black wings on them too. Marthae hatchets are a smaller variety of hatchet, which are a tetras. So that means they are on the tetra special. Buy 4 more, get 25% off if you've subscribed to our channel. Let's see, next up is some cories. Got a few cories on this order. This is Sturba's cories, the Corydoras sturbae, the warm water cory. Definitely one of my favorites. Of course, you know I have lots of favorites. They're moving like lightning. These are some yellowtail spiny eels, Macronathus genus. If you're keeping track, that's the smaller genus of eels, as opposed to the big ones like the fire eels. Next up is our royal blue dwarf gourami, nice 3-inch gourami with beautiful bright colors, usually decent for our community tank, except when they're not. Next up we have celestial pearl daniels, or we call them a CPD. Almost sounds like something out of the Terminator movie, but they are a great little nano fish, one of your best little spots on them. I told you a lot of cories, and here are some more. These are the reticulated Julie cories. Been getting a lot of cool cories in. Apparently cory season is in, so expect lots and lots of cories. Panda cories, not to be left out. Gotta love pandas. Those are tank raised, so don't have to be in season, but they are here, so happy to have. One of our best ones. Here's more of those reticulated Julies. We got a double order this week because we were out, and we can't be out. One of our best-selling cories. Next up is another box of fish. You got nice order. Got quite a bit on this order actually. Here's something we don't get that often. This is just your fantail goldfish. Decent price, nice shape. Fantail goldfish, when they are healthy, are a fantastic choice for those who fancy goldfish. Let's see, Maculatus. These are the black spotted hatchets, not the giant river hatchets. These are the black spotted, but they're the biggest of the regular type hatchets. Very cool tetra as well. Black ghost knife, a pretty darn good sized fish, these guys. They get up to 14 inches. You probably heard me say that because we sell a lot of these guys. I think we have 2 on this order. Bora's Mara, or the Phoenix Rasbora. Looks a lot like the Chili Rasbora, which is their close cousin. A little bit different pattern on them, still a very bright fish. One of the most awesome little nano fish you can get. Got a few bettas on this order. Wasn't a lot available this week, but we picked up some inexpensive veil tails. Let's see, oh, baby monster. Been selling a lot of baby monsters. I hope we're also filling enormous tanks, because remember, that guy gets 4 feet. That is a giant fish. Got a whole bunch of little bags of little angels. These are Ornico tank raised F1 Ultimate Angels. That's a lot to say about a little tiny angel fish, but they're not a tiny angel. They get 7 inches tall. So very, very cool critter. If you ever wanted to do discus but didn't feel like it, do ultims instead. They're a little easier, but not much. Though those tank rays do good. These are the red neon rainbow, or the Pseudomogol luminatus. They're also called Apascas sometimes. The Apascas are only get about that big. Really great little nano rainbow. Here's another one of those Ultim Angels. Got a little group. I think we got 8 of them because that's what they had. No, 7. 7 of them altogether, because that's what they had left at the warehouse. So we got the last 7. Don't know when those will come back through again. They've been coming through about once or twice a year. So if you wanted to do an Ultim project, here's your chance. Got 7 of them to choose from, because that's a normal and odd number. All right, next up is more fish. Platies. Got a nice little group of platies in this week. That's actually should have a few different Livebearers. From these guys, we got platies with spots. What are you? This is a fish I've never had before. This is Livebearers Klausiewicz. Oh goodness, Klausiewicz. I think that's what I'm going to go with. Klausiewicz. It's a different kind of Livebearers. They only get about yay big, as opposed to some that get way big, like the bandeds or black. What do they call them? Black band. Anyway, cool fish. Check them out. They're not a lot of information about them, but if they're similar to like the strawberries, more platies by the way, they should be in your semi-aggressive tank. Should do just fine. Another guy that will go in the same place, except for more versatile probably, the roseline shark, perhaps the quintessential best choice for a schooling or dither fish for just about any occasion. And next up are marble angelfish. These are nice little premium angels, your regular scalaires. And there's some more of your veil bettas. All right, what's up next? We got more hatchets. Got a few different hatchets on this order. Actually, I think this is the last group. These are marble hatchets. There weren't any platinum hatchets to be had. So we got marbles, marthays, and giant, or the black spotted hatchets. Here's a whole bag full of mystery snails. I don't like it when they ship them in water like that. You see how dirty they get. But if they come out of that okay, at least we got some to sell you. Cardinal tetras came in tiny again. These are the cardinals from Brazil. They grow fast. I've taken them from this size to half again that size in a couple weeks. So I just need clean water and food. And amazingly, those guys look fantastic. And some people say they're brighter colored. I don't know if that's true. And maybe they just don't blanch as much on shipping. I don't know. They look pretty bright in the bag. I don't remember how many times we get those in and they're just white. So maybe there's something to that. Next up is another eel. This is a tire track eel. Got one last week and sold it, so we got another. Next up is purple pencilfish. Restock on those guys. Somebody was looking for those. We had 2 females. Remember, your pencils are a type of tetra. They are subject to the tetra special. However, they are really not good in small batches. Don't do them in 5 or 6. Do them in 12 or more. Otherwise, your males nick each other off, make each other jump out. That's another veil betta. So big batches, those purple pencils are really bright colored. Definitely worth it if you want to do pencils, but do them in a big batch. Neon tetras, your quintessential tetra for the tetra order. Buy 4 more, get 25% off of those guys as well. And green tiger barbs are best-selling barb of all for certain, except for close second on those roseline barbs, roseline sharks or denison barbs, however you want to call it. Next up is tail bar hoplos. Gotta love you some hoplo catfish. Restock on those guys. We've actually been keeping those in stock most of the time. A really neat little catfish that's not a cory that we can get most of the time. Here is some regular tiger barbs. Gotta go along with those green tiger barbs. A little bit nippy. Do them in a big school. They're less nippy. And more platies. Got a nice variety of cool colors of platies. Those are the tuxes on those. And more platies. There's the blue corals. So a nice group of platies in today. Good, because we're about out. Rummy nose tetra, gotta have rummies. Perfect for your planted tank or otherwise. And they're on the tetra special. Gotta love you some rummy nose tetra. All right, next up is another box of fish. I know, big surprise, right? Let's see what we got here. Let's see, more tetras for the tetra special. This is the Priscilla tetra. Priscillas are a great little tetra. In general, they're kind of pretty anyway, but they do well with more transition. You could do them in a planted tank that it doesn't have a heater, and they would probably do just fine. L124, that's the Colombian Parapleco, or Sabaja, they'll call them. Got a couple different names for them. Really came in tiny, but I got a good price on them this time. If you take the time to grow them out, that is a very neat little pleco. They get about 7 inches, so kind of an intermediate size, and nice bright spots on them. So a real pretty little guy. Speaking of pretty little guy, these are sparkling grammies. Sparkling grammies only get about an inch or so. Some people are using them to eat scuds out of their shrimp tank. I would think that they would probably eat baby shrimp also. I've heard reports that they leave them alone, and I've also heard reports that they don't. Now I got some more tetras. I almost thought it was a duplicate, but no, we had Priscillas before. These are silver tip tetras. Silver tips are another popular, inexpensive tetra that's on the tetra special. So pick yourself up some nice little silver tips. They're kind of cool because they're dimorphic. A little bit chasey though. Gold white clouds, that's the albino version of your very favorite white cloud mountain minnow. Kind of interesting distinction on those guys. They're one of the few fish that have been in the hobby for 100 years that are actually from mainland China. There's other fish that have come in from that market in the last decade, but prior to that, they were a real exception for just that. Though there's some that come from Thailand and from Vietnam, so very cool little fish. Let's see, African butterfly fish, speaking of a cool fish, I get them in ones or in big groups, and they do fine. Don't do them in a couple, or they tend to nick each other up. Very, very fun oddity of a fish. They're good jumpers, as the name suggests. And there's another one of those Ultim Angels. I think that's 4 of the 7. Maybe it's 3. I don't know if there's another one. That's not it. That's something we haven't had for a minute. Pandagaras, tiny this time. Last time we had them in, they were like that big. Today they are itty bitty, but those are Pandagara log suckers. Actually a pretty good little algae eater. Let's see, another one of those Plecos. So I got a pair of those guys in, Plecos. Yeah, you saw what I did there. If the camera shakes, it's because the cameraman was laughing. Hornico Angel. I guess it's a trio. It's not a pair of Plecos. It's a trio of Plecos. My joke goes south. Sorry. Next up is an ornate biker. Gotta love that guy. Ornate biker has not been in stock for a while, though we do have a Tig Lucy right now, which is a similar guy with a buff bottom. And last fish out of this box is a black ghost knife. Remember, 14 inches on those guys. They are a fantastic fish for the right tank. For the wrong tank, they'll eat your little fish and cause trouble. So make sure to put them in the right place. Let's see. This is a whole nother order here. Got Fruity Pebbles to start with. Got some Glowfish. That's the red, the ruby red, I think they call it, on the skirted tetra. Next up is, if I can get them out of the corners of the bag, these are swordtails. Looks like they came in a little bit cold, even though I had a heat pack on there. We're a little bit short on swordtails right now, so happy to have something. Here are some mollies, also very short on mollies, so mollies and swordtails in the house. And frogs. Been selling a lot of these little albino frogs. I got a whole nother batch. Looks like one of them didn't make the trip. Can you imagine a frog that croaked? We've got some snails. These are the little thorn neurites. Just have to trust me, I'm going to break them open today. But and these are the zebra neurites. Should have some red spot neurites in here too. Don't see them. Maybe they're in another box. Maybe they didn't ship them. Some guppies. Got a variety of guppies this week. I don't remember what they called these, but they're super cool little bands in their tail. So more Fruity Pebbles. That's an assorted group of zebra Daniel glowfish. Restock on those. We've been out of those for a while. And more guppies. Got the black Moscows. Some of those got really nice tails, so fantastic that. And more of the regular frogs. Able to get a little larger size on those. Their survivability is so much better when they're a little bit bigger. Remember, those little tiny albinos, got to get some food on them right away. So sometimes it takes a while to figure out how to eat in your tank. But once they do, they're little monsters. They get a couple inches. Let's see, got feeders coming. We got shrimp. Oh, this is not feeders or shrimp. These are a large size on clown loaches. I mean, remember, clown loaches get a foot, so these are not large right now, but larger than we get on average when we get them in as itty bitty babies. That size is pretty nice. Let's see, next is some swordtails. Got one of those red wags. Okay, nice. And more guppies. Those look awful black too, so apparently I got two black varieties. Maybe one of them's a blue variety and just looks black in the bag. And that's another variety of swordtail, or yeah, swordtail, guppy. White body red fins, that's kind of cool. Let's see how those guys hold up. And more Fruity Pebbles. Those are the blue glow skirt tetras. So gotta have you some glowfish. Who's in here? This is, some of those guys didn't make the trip. Looks like they got a little cold. But those are a large size on the green tiger barbs. Looks like at least a couple of those guys really didn't do well, unfortunately. Hopefully we can keep the rest of them in good shape. Who's that? Oh, that's pea puffers. Let's see how our pea puffers do. They're a little bit on the small side, but overall I think they look like they, well, looks like a couple of those guys didn't make the trip either. Yeah, we'll see how they warm up and see how well they do. Pea puffers have been a little bit hard to get, but we've got a batch a couple weeks ago that held up well. Florida flagfish. These guys are actually a blackbeard algae eater. They're pretty good at picking at that. And they're in the Kelly family. Long-finned Serpe tetras. Serpes are a bright red, beautiful fish, but they have a tendency to be chasey and nippy. The long-finned ones kind of slow them down a little bit, so hopefully that'll work for you. Feeder guppies are a must for many people, especially if you got something that requires live food. We got a couple bags of those. And here's those other snails I promised you. Boy, they're really suctioned up. I hope they're okay without any air. And last bag out of this box, we've got some swordtails. These are the koi swordtails. Yeah, look pretty good. A couple of those guys look a little rough, but decent little batch of those guys. All right, one more box. I know it's going to have feeders in it. There might be something else interesting in there too. Should be some shrimp. Got a pretty good order of shrimp this week. I won't pull the comments out, just save my back, but we do have a whole bunch of shrimp. There's red crystal shrimp, nice batch of those. Red cherry shrimp and large Amano shrimp. We still have 3 sizes of shrimp right now, the extra large, large, and small Amano shrimp. Just restocked on the larges. And then here we have blue shrimp and red Rilly shrimp. Been selling a lot of Rilly shrimp. Really, we have been really selling Rilly shrimp, because you didn't think I'd pass up the opportunity for a Rilly joke, did you? That would be really unlike me, really. There's a whole batch of the Bloody Mary shrimp. And then I think the only thing left in there is an ice pack and feeders. So that's it for this week's order, guys. Thanks for hanging in there. We'll see you next week.